Hi everyone, Alex here. This is a weekly news review from Ukraine. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this article. During his last press conference with Ukrainian Prime Minister, the President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, said that the key condition for Ukraine to get a $600 million loan is to pass a law that would lift a ban on exporting of unprocessed wood. My personal opinion is that it's a total disgrace. Ukraine is demanded to become a raw materials appendix of the EU for the amount of money that won't even change the situation there, and most of it will be stolen, as it always happens. The current government of Ukraine doesn't care about the future of the nation. They only care about the short-term opportunities for themselves, and they're selling their country. Now the wood processing businesses in Ukraine are going to face the crisis because all the wood would be sold abroad, and in exchange Ukraine will import European wooden products. The government of Ukraine lowered the social standards for natural gas and electricity for the citizens as a response for the IMF's request to have a next loan. In case you're not familiar with the situation, I'll explain it briefly. Currently, the prices for the energy resources are so high in Ukraine that a lot of Ukrainians are struggling to pay for them. An average monthly bill in a cold season equals to an average wage, and therefore a lot of people are being subsidized by the government. And the amount of this help is calculated according to the social standards, so now it would be lowered too. The government of Ukraine agreed to raise the retirement age for Ukrainians as a response for the IMF's request to have a next loan. Another IMF's condition for Ukraine is to raise the retirement age up to 63 years for both males and females. For you to know, the average life expectancy in Ukraine among men is 66 years, and among women is 76. So basically, a lot of men will never see their retirement. The next one is about the language problem in Ukraine. The head of the Ukrainian parliament, Andriy Parubiy, demanded an oppositional party deputy to speak Ukrainian when she's addressing the parliament from the tribune, or to request a translator if she would continue to speak Russian. The next one is also about this problem. In Cherkasy, when the manager of the Dnipro hotel began to report in Russian, he was attacked by the deputies from the far-right Svoboda party. The language is a very sensitive problem in Ukraine. The current government does everything it can to enforce the use of the Ukrainian language in all areas of life. But the problem is that Ukraine is a multinational country and about half of the Ukrainian citizens don't even speak Ukrainian, or speak it poorly. There are a lot of Russians, Turks and Armenians and others in Ukraine, and they all speak Russian. That's how it's historically happened. For instance, my father and his brother don't speak Ukrainian at all, and my mother does, and I speak Ukrainian perfectly, and two my brothers speak a mixed Ukrainian-Russian language. One of the reasons Yanukovych got his support to become a president is his promise to solve this language problem, and he did. He allowed to use Russian language as an official language in regions with Russian-speaking majority. and that's south and east of Ukraine. The next article is called Lithuania Awaits for Ukrainian Specialists. It's about Lithuanian government easing the employment for foreign specialists in some areas. Those areas are programming, IT, engineering, other technical specialities. I don't blame Lithuania. They have their problems because their best specialists are long gone to Germany, France, UK and Netherlands since Lithuania joined the EU. So they're now trying to replace them with cheap labor from other countries, particularly from Ukraine. A massive brain drain. As you might know, Ukraine was a massive industrial country with high scientific potential, aircraft and spacecraft building, atomic science, IT, military, energy, and other. Therefore, Ukraine has a lot of universities and colleges that are preparing a highly qualified specialist in those areas. Even me, I was studying in the instrumentation college that was founded specially to prepare the highest quality specialists for the local instrumentation plant that was building a highly classified equipment for the USSR, particularly for the military. By the time I got there, the plant was long dead, but the college still exists and produces highly qualified specialists in IT and electronics. But since the majority of those plants are destroyed now, those specialists have no perspective in Ukraine, and they end up in Poland, Russia, US, Germany, Italy, and other. And some humor in the end. Ukrainian ex-Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk proposed his assistance in building a wall between the US and Mexico. He claimed that his experience in building a wall between Ukraine and Russia would be very valuable. If you're not aware, then I'll explain it briefly. Arseniy Yatsenyuk's project of a wall between Russia and Ukraine is a misery. Here it's photos. You can't even call it a wall. It's a fence. A fence that I could cross easily if I wanted to. And it's supposed to protect against the Russian military trespassing. Very funny. Well, that's all for today. See you next time.